Welcome to the EVERBLACK Podcast. On this episode, we chat to Greg Shaw from TRUTH CORRODED. We'll be releasing their long-awaited new album, Bloodlands, on March 22nd through Unique Lethal Records. Now, I was lucky enough to hear Bloodlands a little while ago, and the album is already on my top list of 2019. It's got everything you'd want from these boys, and it's just heavy. Brutal album. Check out the singles for To the Carnal Earth and Victims Left Lepers, and you'll see exactly what I mean. Heavy stuff. March 22nd, go and pre-order it now. There's a bunch of bundles up on their website too, and all links on their Facebook as well. Go support the boys, and hopefully we'll be seeing them up here very soon. Alright, before we go into the interview with Greg, I have to mention that this episode is brought to you by Blacklight Art and Design, who are our go-to for all our screen printing needs. They've done all our hats and shirts for EVERBLACK Media, and they've got a great turnaround, just really fast. Highly recommend checking them out. www.blacklightad.com.au. Show is also brought to you by our good friends at RW Promotion, who are the best in the biz when it comes to stickers, flyers, banners, badges, and all other promo you need for your band or business. Go to www.rwpromotion.com.au and check them out. Also, want to give a shout out to Lumberpunks Axe Throwing Club, who now have two venues in Queensland, one in Miami on the Gold Coast and the other in West End in Brisbane. Lumberpunks is an axe throwing club which is a destination suitable for solo adventurers, date nights, bucks nights, birthdays, hens nights, or just hanging out with the boys or girls on a night out. It doesn't matter what music you listen to as well. Metal preferred, because it goes really well with throwing the axes, but you can choose whatever you want to listen to while you're doing it. All sessions are 1.5 hours in length and comprise of a safety induction, instruction on tactical tomahawks and hatchets, and then competitive play. Now, you'll receive 10% off your session when you quote EVERBLACK in your booking notes. Terms and conditions apply. Go book your session now. It's a lot of fun to throw some axes with your mates and work out some of that aggression while you listen to some metal. It's a hell of a lot of fun. All right, so don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube and EVERBLACK podcast through iTunes. Spread the word. Thanks for all your support, guys. Here is my interview with Greg Shaw from TRUTH CORRODED. Enjoy. Greg, thanks for joining us on the show, man. How's things going?
Good, mate. How are you?
Excellent, dude. Well, TRUTH CORRODED are gearing up to release your long-awaited new album, Bloodlands, which comes out on March 22nd. I'm guessing a lot has actually happened in that period of time, so catch us up to speed.
Sure, man. Yeah, no, it has been a while, and it's probably the longest amount of time that we've had between albums as well. Yeah, just there was just a whole bunch of, I wouldn't even know where to start in terms of giving reasons as to why. There was just hurdle after hurdle after hurdle. Kind of like our version of Chinese democracy, I think, man. Like, so, we were wondering as much as anyone when the album was actually going to come out. But yeah, there was just countless situations that were almost borderline Spinal Tap, where we're just like, you know, so you sort of something would happen and you were just like, oh, fucking, we should just call it a day.
No, I'm glad that you guys didn't. I'm so glad you guys didn't, because as I was saying, like the album doesn't disappoint whatsoever. I know I was kidding before, it hasn't been 6 or 7 years, but it definitely doesn't disappoint me. Like, it's such a great fucking album. Were the songs written over like a shorter period of time, or did you give yourselves just free reign?
Well, it was actually quite different this time around, man. The previous album we worked with Wayne Batters, who was with us from Worship the Bled through to The Saviour's Slain, and that was a majority of that Wayne had actually written himself, but we had worked together, you know, doing writing sessions and getting together and going through the songs and structuring them. And yeah, and he was great to work with in that regard. With the new album, Trent joined the band once we actually finished up the touring cycle for Saviours. Trent was just, it was completely different. He'd sort of go, oh, it wasn't like, you know, I've got this cool riff or I've got the couple of cool riffs. It was just kind of like, here's a song. It's just kind of like, you know, you listen to it and you'd be like, oh, fuck, yeah, that's great, man. Cool, that's, I can't really suggest anything there, man. You've absolutely nailed it. So, Yeah, he just came along, and he definitely is just an amazing songwriter. And we worked through things. We changed up a couple of things here and there. But to his credit, most of the songs were just from start to finish. He'd put it together. Yeah, we were really, really just stoked on it. Trent's known us for years. He comes from a pretty similar background to me and Jason, who us being the original members. So he really understands Truth Corroded. He comes from same background, so he knew what he wanted to bring to the table in terms of writing an album for us. And yeah, he just ticked all the boxes. It definitely has the Truth Corroded sound, but then he's gone and taken that to a different place as well. He's brought in a bit of a black metal influence here and there, and he's just really he's just put together a really well-rounded album. And working with myself and Jace to sort of finish it out, it just worked out really well.
Where did you guys record this time?
It was a little bit all over the place, man. We worked with Kevin Talley again for the drums. Kevin, that seems so long ago now, actually. So Trent would kind of like blueprint the songs, write the songs with drums, and then we'd send them over to Kevin once they were all sort of finalised, and then Kevin would kind of do his own sort of thing. It was funny as well because we had Kieran in the band at the time, and because we toured with Suffocation, and Kevin was playing with Suffocation for 4 tours. We all got to know each other, and so every time Kevin would send something, he'd be like, "Fucking, I want to see Kieran try and play that." So he's just purposely, setting him up to fail. So he definitely really added some challenging stuff there. Not only because of he wanted to see Kieran suffer, but at the same time, he's been with us for 3 albums, so he was definitely looking to really push it even further. So yeah, we worked with Kevin, and then we tracked guitars over in South Australia with a guy named Jack Hartley, and Jack was amazing to work with. He pretty much did vocals and all the guitars with us, and really brought out the best in each of us as far as that goes. So recorded here in South Australia for that, and then we sent it over to Chris Zeus Harris over in Massachusetts to sort of finish things off at Planet Z Studios. And then there was some additional reamping that we did with Mark Clopel from Misery Index, who manages the band as well. He sort of helped out and getting the tones right and everything as well. So all over the place. It took quite some time, a lot of back and forth, but eventually got it there.
How are you guys feeling about it? I mean, from someone that's heard the album and loves it, I can hear how much work has gone into it. But you guys, especially from how you've explained it, is it like this relief? It's almost ready to drop. Is it that anticipation? How are you guys feeling about it right now?
Yeah, I think definitely a sense of relief because we had to jump through hoops on this one.
Yes.
We've been sitting on it for quite some time. The album itself was written, I don't even want to say, at least 3, almost 3 years ago, I suppose, in terms of it being finalised with all the structures and everything.
Yes.
But after then, there was just the time it took for it to actually shop out, and then secure a deal, and then actually schedule that in with the label itself. All of this just took time, and then even the process with the art, we actually we ended up in a pretty tricky situation where everything was good to go. We had all the art ready to go, and then the artist who ended up doing the album, Gary Ronaldson, who's worked with Misery Index and Napalm Death and Benighted and bands like that. he contacted me to sort of let me know that the artist we had used was plagiarizing other people's art.
Oh, no.
Yes, so everything was ready to go, and then it was like, oh, fuck. So, so we pretty much had to start from scratch there, and Gary pretty much stepped up to the plate and said, let's work together, because we originally were going to work with Gary. He wasn't available at the time, and so there was just a few problems along the way. And then, I don't know, just after a while, man, it was just seemingly the amount of hurdles that we're going through. We actually got to the point we weren't sure if we were ever going to get it out. But it all worked out, man. We signed with Unique later, which was, fantastic for us to. It is definitely the biggest label we've worked with so far. They've been turning in some absolutely killer work over the past couple of years, and it's just great to be sort of involved with a label like that. Definitely a sense of relief, man. Most definitely.
I guess excited as well, man, because I think this once it drops, this is going to be in a lot of people's top albums of the year, and that's not just me just saying that. Like, I've spun it a few times, and I'm like, it's solid. And it's worthy of. Man. It's very, very good, guys. Yeah. No, you just could absolutely be proud of what you guys have done here. And I know by the sounds of it, as you said, you've jumped through. You've had a lot of hoops, a lot of hurdles. Yeah, I mean, I hope you guys get a chance to actually sit back once it's released and soak up all the good word.
Oh, cheers, man. That, and to hear that coming from, someone like yourself, that really does mean a lot. Yeah, look, there is a lot of blood, sweat, and tears going into that album, and there's without a doubt a sense of elation now that we know it's coming out. We're about to go on tour in Europe, like pretty much the day it comes out, and that's just going to be, it is kind of like a sense of victory in that regard, and there's definitely going to be some crazy nights on that tour to celebrate as well, I dare say, man. So, we're definitely really excited, and looking forward to what the year brings as well. And really appreciate your commentary on it, man, for sure.
It's the truth, man. It's the truth. Just talking the truth. I love it. I do. I really, really dig it. And of course, man, you just mentioned about hitting the road with Misery Index in Europe, and that's next. That's coming up super quick.
Yeah, we're literally weeks away now. The tour starts for us, it starts on the 24th of March, and the album drops on the 22nd. So literally, we're jumping on the bus and heading out across Europe for 14 shows all up across Europe, and you got Misery Index, Worm Rot, and Lion's Daughter. Pretty intense and diverse lineup. So really, really stoked to be involved in that. Misery Index, I think if you know me personally, and if you see photos of me, I'm obviously a pretty big Misery Index fan as well. So to actually get out on the road with them it's a huge plus for myself, but for the band all up as well.
So what kind of prep goes into that kind of tour? I mean, for most dudes in Australia, it's something a lot of us dream about. I mean, actually putting the wheels in motion for something on that level, I could imagine it being quite a task.
Yeah, it's it ain't easy, no, without a doubt. So I think, anytime that you do see an Australian band kind of break over, whether it's in Europe or US, there's a lot of sacrifice going into doing that, and you just got to really, really respect that. It takes a lot of preparation. It takes a lot of knocking on doors to try and find someone who's actually going to you and get you out there as well. We've been lucky, over the years. We've toured quite extensively overseas, not as a full-time sort of type thing by any stretch. There's normally fairly big gaps in between us getting over to Europe. I mean, 2012 we did a tour with Malevolent Creation and Chris Ian over there, and 2015 we did a tour with Suffocation and Nile, and now we got this tour. So there's normally probably about 2 or 3 years in between in between the times that we do get back to Europe. But yeah, it's just a great opportunity, and we definitely don't take that for granted whatsoever. So yeah, and in terms of preparation, we're all working people. We've got jobs, we've got mortgages, and we've got commitments that we have to sort of balance out against actually being a band as well. So so there's a lot of sacrifice that comes with that, man. When you actually do have work leave or anything like that, you've got to sort of allocate X amount to actually, dedicating that towards the band and, finding the funds to actually do it as well. Been pretty lucky. I've been pretty savvy with getting grants and finding means and funds to actually help the band out to actually get us overseas. And, been pretty lucky as far as that goes. So, man, that's, you just got a determination and perseverance is pretty much where it counts in terms of, if you're looking to actually do that and you're a band sort of starting out, you just got to keep working at it. And, if you stick to it, it will happen. It's just a hard work ethic. And, there's people out there who pick up on that as well. So, that's pretty much where it's at.
I mean, that's something I've always admired about you guys is you can tell there's that hard work and determination and sacrifice as well. You mentioned, you're all dudes who are just, you've got that reality of real life, and then you've got this part of you that's this driven musician. And I guess that's where a lot of people, they get to that point and they think, oh, it's too hard. I think you guys are very inspiring. Inspirational, I should say, for a lot of bands to actually say that, hey man, I can do that. So
thanks, man. I mean, I really appreciate that. We've definitely just stuck at it. We've never been a band that could do well. There was a time where maybe we could have done this full time. But at the time when we could have done it full time, we completely sucked. So, so I think over time, we particularly Jason and myself, we just had to keep on pushing through any sort of negative stuff that sort of would come our way. Whether that was membership changes or working with the right sort of industry. You just push through that, and eventually, if you are determined, you will get those opportunities. And it's just hard work and believing in yourself, I suppose. To actually get these opportunities is it's a huge plus for us for sure.
And back to the album, there's something that I was going to ask you about was you've got a few guests, like you've got Terrence Hobbs from Suffocation and Stephen Carpenter from Deftones. I mean, that's and when I saw that name, I was like, what? I was like, that's insane. That's crazy. And it's awesome.
Look, that and he actually came on board right at the 11th hour as well. We pretty much had the album written. We had Mark from Misery Index doing a song. He had Terrence on the song that was just released to the Carnal Earth. Ryan Knight, who used to, at the time when I spoke to Ryan, he was in the Black Dahlia Murder and has since left, but lucky to have him on board as well. But then, Steph Carpenter, that was just sort of that just came out of the blue. Jason had spoke to Steph about it when the Deftones were over here touring, and it was if anyone knows anything about Steph, he likes to hit the green. So, it was in a very hazy conversation where he sort of mentioned that he wanted to do a fairly dark song, and Jason was like, "Well, I actually have a song that I could send away," and and sure enough, that's exactly how it unfolded. It was just through a conversation and a catch up, and Jason and his partner have known the guys from the Deftones for quite a few years now, so it was a very natural sort of conversational sort of situation. And Jason sent him the last song on the album called "I Once Breathed," which is as we do with each album, the last song is normally our Neurosis, Colder Lunar inspired sort of type, big heavy song. And he sent it over, and we didn't hear anything for a while. And then, Steph got back to us. He's like, "Oh, hey man, I I did this over your song. What do you think?" And Jason sent it over to me, and my jaw just, I think I listened to it on repeat for about 5 listens straight, just absolutely agape at what he had actually done. He wasn't sort of like I didn't know what to expect when Jason brought it up. I wasn't sure if it was going to be sort of like, some sort of crazy 7th Street, steps sort of type riffing or something like that. I really didn't know what to expect. But when we actually got it back, it was quite, it's him, but if someone had told you it wasn't him, you probably, you wouldn't really pick up on it. It really does sound very different, and it's very soundscaped. And he's on the song from start to finish. It's like a complete additional guitar part to the entire song, and really sets the tone and mood of the song itself. So really, really happy with it, man, and absolutely blown away that we could have someone like Steph Carpenter be involved in the album.
That's awesome, man. That's so good. And of course, will we be seeing you boys up this way, or Australian tour coming up?
Yeah, well, it's gonna be a little while. We do have a day up in Brizzy towards the middle of the year. We do the European tour, then we come back and we do the Heavy SA Festival in Adelaide a couple of weeks after we actually get back. Then, as far as getting over to the East Coast, there's going to be a little bit of a gap before we actually do get over there. But I can't say anything yet, but I will say that it's on a really big event, and we're pretty stoked to be involved in it as well. So it'll be quite a huge show up there. And we love Brisbane, man. We love to get back there as often as we can. It's always a good time. We've got some really great friends there, and people like yourself who've known for a number of years. It's always a good time to get up there and just catch up with people, and end up with a bloody terrible hangover, man. And have that suffering 2-hour flight back afterwards. But man, we're really looking forward to getting back up there.
So, of course, I mean, you've mentioned, you're heading over to Europe. Lots of plans happening in 2019. What else you guys got cooked up for the rest of the year?
Yeah, we're working on something at the moment that we might be over to the States towards later in the year. We're still sort of in the planning on that at the moment, but if that all goes ahead, it's a bit more tricky than Europe, like getting over to the States, because you got visa costs, and it's definitely got a few more overheads than we normally are accustomed to. So we've got that. There are some possibilities that we're looking at for Asia as well, but at this stage, I think mid-year we'll do Australia, and then we'll look at the US later in the year, and then see what else turns up. Other than that, everything's still pretty much in planning and falling into place at the moment, man. So it's busy times in terms of putting things together, but in terms of announcing anything, it'd probably be a bit more premature sort of saying anything just yet.
Oh, man. Well, it's definitely exciting times, and Bloodlands comes out on March 22nd, and that is through Unique Leader Records. Dude, thank you so much again for taking the time to chat with us on the show, and hopefully see you and the boys real soon. Until then, have fun in Europe, bro.
No worries. Thanks so much, man. Really, really appreciate it, man. Look forward to seeing you.